Hannah here with Delta. Today I'm installing a wall-mounted pot filler faucet. A pot filler is a separate faucet that is installed near a stovetop or range that allows you to fill pots and pans with water right at the stove. It has a long metal neck that swings out from the wall so it can be conveniently tucked out of the way when not in use. Pot fillers are great additions to your kitchen, especially if you love to cook. They free up your sink for food prep and help reduce clutter and mess. Also, no more carrying heavy pots from the faucet to your stove. This is the Broderick model, but Delta offers lots of coordinating pot filler faucets to match just about any style or finish. To install your Broderick pot filler, the first and most important requirement is a water supply anchored in the wall that extends ½ an inch past the finished wall surface. To mount the faucet, you will need a drill and either a 3/32 drill bit, or if you're using the supplied wall anchors, a 1/4 inch drill bit. You will also need a pencil to mark where to drill and a Phillips screwdriver to fasten the faucet to the wall. To fasten the faucet securely to the supply, you'll need an adjustable wrench and some plumber's tape. And finally, you may also want some safety glasses, a bucket for flushing your system, and a towel for any water cleanup. Okay, grab those tools and supplies and let's get started. Before I start working, a good pro tip is to lay a towel down to protect the surface you're working over and also to catch any small parts that you might drop. Okay, the first step in our install is to mark and drill the holes needed to secure the flange to the wall. If your wall is unfinished, we strongly suggest waiting until the wall is finished. Inside your packaging, you'll find the wall flange. Slip the flange onto the back of the faucet. And now we're going to thread the faucet onto our supply, just until it's stable. We don't want to put this in all the way. Just want to put it in until it's stable. Okay. Now I'm going to take a pen or a pencil, and I'm going to mark our screw holes. Now the orientation of the screw holes isn't important, you just want to make sure you're not drilling into your water line. Okay. Go ahead and unscrew the faucet from the pipe and find where you marked the screw holes. Now, if you're mounting the wall flange directly into a stringer or other support, you can use a 3/32 inch drill bit to drill holes for the screws. If you're mounting it in the drywall, however, you will need the provided wall anchors. If that's the case, use a 1/4 inch drill bit and drill holes where you marked. Okay, now that we have that unscrewed, we're ready to drill our holes. Okay, I've used the appropriate drill bit and size to make sure I didn't damage my finished wall. I know that I have a stringer board behind the wall, so I'm just going to use screws. If you need to use the anchors, now is the time to use them. Next, we're going to wrap plumber's tape around the pipe threads for a tight seal and to avoid any future leaks. All right, now when I'm applying this, I want to make sure I go in a clockwise manner so that when I'm putting my faucet on, I'm not loosening the tape. Okay, now we're ready to move on. Okay, now we're going to place the supplied gasket and flange over the pipe. Before you do that, make sure that the holes in the gasket and the flange line up. Okay, place that over. All right, now we're going to use the provided screws and just a screwdriver. You don't want to use a power driver here. We don't want to over tighten anything. Just do this by hand. We're going to use the screws and screw into the wall. Okay, that's nice and snug. Now we're going to take our provided flange trim. We're going to put it over the faucet like so. We're going to press this on. Okay, got that on. Now I'm going to thread this onto the pipe. I'm not going to use the arm of the faucet to tighten it. You may need an adjustable wrench here if you need to tighten it that last little way. Okay, that's nice and tight. Okay, you'll notice that there's 2 set screws on this flange. I'm gonna take my included hex wrench and I'm gonna tighten those up and then I'm gonna push the trim flange back to the wall. Then we'll be ready to move on. With any new faucet install, I always like to flush the line to make sure that there's no debris in it. You want to make sure you have a towel for any light water cleanup and a bucket. Place the bucket under the faucet. Now before we start, we'll need to remove the aerator in the spout of our faucet. Use the little blue aerator wrench that's supplied in your packaging. Line up the teeth on the wrench and gently turn it, and the aerator should twist right off. Keep it safe to the side since we'll replace it again once the system is flushed. Okay, now it's time to flush our lines, but before we do that, I have to turn the water on. Now I want to make sure that both of our handles are in the off position, and I've actually turned this one on during installation, so I'm going to make sure that that's off. Okay, our water supply is back on. Your pot filler faucet has two handles, one located at the base of the faucet and one at the spout. Go ahead and turn both of these on to the full position and let it run for about 30 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to reinstall my aerator. And just screw it in. Okay, now I'm going to check for any leaks and clean up. Okay, no leaks and everything looks great. That wraps up our install. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Delta's customer service team. They're happy to help. Enjoy your new pot filler.